Hello, my friends. I'm Luna, and today I want to talk with you about something that weighs on a lot of people more than they usually admit: the English accent. Because if you are here, it probably already happened to you. You understand English, you can read it, you watch videos, sometimes you even understand series or podcasts. But when it's time to speak, something stops you. And most of the time, it's not lack of vocabulary, it's not really grammar either. It's that quiet thought in the back of your mind saying, my accent isn't good enough. I don't sound right. People will notice I'm not a native speaker. And today, I'm not here to tell you to just be confident. I'm not here to say, it's all in your head and move on. I want to talk to you honestly, like in a calm conversation, to understand why accent is not the real problem, and why, if your goal is fluency and clarity, accent actually matters much less than you think. This episode is for you if you're around A2 or B1 level. If you're not a complete beginner anymore, but your English voice still doesn't feel like it fully belongs to you. And especially if you want to speak better without feeling like you have to become someone else. Stay with me for a bit. We're going to talk about English, yes, but more than that, we're going to talk about how to feel freer when you use it. Let's be honest for a moment. The problem is not that you don't know English. You already know more than you think. The real problem is what happens inside you right before you speak. Because there's this moment, very small, very fast, where your brain starts checking everything at the same time. Your pronunciation, your grammar, your accent, your speed, your mistakes. And in that moment, instead of speaking, you hesitate. You stay quiet, or you say much less than what you actually wanted to say. And the frustrating part is that later, when you're alone, you suddenly know exactly what you should have said. The words appear, the sentences feel clearer, and you think, why couldn't I say this before? A lot of people think this means they're bad at speaking, but that's not true. What's really happening is that you're carrying too much pressure every time you open your mouth. Pressure to sound correct, pressure to sound native, pressure to not sound weird. And accent becomes the perfect excuse for that fear. You tell yourself, my accent is bad, so I shouldn't speak yet. I need to fix my accent first. I'll speak when I sound better. But the truth is, that moment never comes, because accent is not something you fix before speaking. Accent is something that slowly changes because you speak. And when you avoid speaking because of your accent, you stay stuck in the same place, understanding more, listening more, but never feeling truly free. If this feels familiar, I want you to know something important. There is nothing wrong with you. This is a very normal stage. Almost everyone who learns a language seriously goes through this. It's uncomfortable, yes. It's frustrating, yes. But it's not a dead end. It's just a point where you need a different way of approaching English. A softer way, a more realistic way. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. So here's the part that most people don't talk about. Almost everyone who becomes fluent does not start by speaking well. They start by speaking alone, not in front of people, not in conversations, not trying to sound impressive. They start by getting used to hearing their own voice in English. And this is the part that feels strange at first, but it's also the part that changes everything. The Luna method is very simple, but it's not shallow. It's about removing pressure before adding confidence. You don't start by speaking correctly, you start by speaking comfortably. For example, you begin talking to yourself during normal moments of your day. Nothing special, nothing dramatic. You wake up and you say, out loud or quietly, I'm getting out of bed. I'm going to drink some water. I'm sitting on my bed. It doesn't matter if it sounds simple. It doesn't matter if it feels silly. What matters is that your brain starts to connect English with movement, with real life, not with exams or rules. And little by little you add more, not because you're forcing it, but because it feels natural. I'm drinking water because I'm thirsty. I'm tired today. I feel a bit lazy, but it's okay. You're not practicing English, you're living in English, just for a few seconds at a time. Then there's another layer that helps a lot. You borrow voices. You choose a series you love, not one you think is good for learning, one you actually enjoy. You find a scene, you find the script or the subtitles, and you read it out loud as if you were inside the show. You're not trying to understand every word. You're not stopping every second. You're focusing on rhythm, on flow, on letting the words come out of your mouth. Sometimes it won't sound right. Sometimes you'll laugh. Sometimes you'll repeat the same line again and again. And that's perfect, because fluency is not born from perfection, it's born from repetition without fear. This is how your mouth relaxes. This is how English stops feeling like a performance and starts feeling like a tool. And when that happens, something interesting changes. You stop thinking about your accent so much, not because it's gone, but because it doesn't control you anymore. You're speaking, and speaking always comes first. Now, I want to be very honest with you, because this part matters more than any technique. You're not going to wake up tomorrow feeling fluent. You're not going to practice for 3 days and suddenly feel confident. And if that happens to someone on the internet, good for them, but that's not the normal path. The normal path is quieter. Some days you'll speak and think, okay, that felt better. And other days you'll try again and feel like you went backwards. That doesn't mean you're failing. That means you're human. There will be moments when you understand everything again, but when it's your turn to speak, your mind goes blank. And that feeling, the frustration, the silence, the why can't I say this, it doesn't mean English isn't for you. It just means your brain is still building the bridge between understanding and expression, and that bridge takes time. Sometimes you'll feel silly talking to yourself. Sometimes you'll feel tired of hearing your own mistakes. Sometimes you'll think, I should be better by now. That thought is very common, and it's also very unfair to yourself. Because speaking a language is not a switch, it's a process of becoming familiar with discomfort. Little by little, the discomfort softens, the pauses get shorter, the fear gets quieter, not because it disappears, but because you learn how to move with it. So if right now you feel slow, if you feel awkward, if you feel like you're not progressing fast enough, you're not behind. You're exactly where this process usually begins. And the fact that you're still here, still listening, still trying, that already says more about your future English than any accent ever could. Take your time. Stay gentle with yourself. This is not about sounding perfect. It's about not giving up on your voice. So before we finish, I just want to tell you this. You don't need to do everything today. You don't need to practice for hours. You don't need to change your life because of this video. Just take one small thing from what we talked about. Maybe today you talk to yourself for 2 minutes. Maybe tomorrow you repeat one scene from a series you like. Maybe you just start noticing your English without judging it so much. That's enough. If this episode made you feel a little calmer about your English, or if it helped you see speaking from a different place, then I'm really glad you're here. And if you want, you can stay. Here, we don't rush. We don't chase perfect accents. We focus on clarity, confidence, and progress that feels real. So if you'd like to keep practicing English in a way that feels more human, you're always welcome in English with Luna. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode. Let's keep going.